Good day, leaders. I'm Pesabel Andumagi, and for our topic today is writing as a process and as a product, how to teach and assess writing in the second language. With our colleagues is Jan Lester Balgos, Christine Hilado, Jamie Clarice Namal, and Elvi Otto. So for our lesson outcomes, this lesson aims to help future pre-syllabus teacher to discuss the nature, process, and mechanics of writing, explain the rationale behind the teaching of writing, prepare writing tasks that would suit their target learners, design learning plans in writing instruction, and purpose assessment activities that will not only develop the learners' writing skills but also motivate them to write. Purposes of teaching writing. Writing is often taken as a task integrated with other communication skills like reading. According to Harmer on 1998, offered for purposes of writing, namely reinforcement, language development, learning styles, and as a skills of each own. So letter A, reinforcement. Reinforcement writing is considered as one of the ways of helping language learners remember and even improve their fluency in their target language. So, reinforcement, the teacher should therefore consider writing activities that help students or learners respond and comprehend their reading selection more effectively. Letter B, language development. According to Harmer on 1998, assert that learning a language is a process. So, in language development, it is a part of the learner language. Learning experience encompasses the factor of communication, thus through in listening, speaking, reading, or writing. So, it is refers to the process through the children acquire or known or learn the language, refers to the child's ability to understand the communication on the other people, including spoken, gesture, and written words. Letter C, learning style. Our understanding of Gardner's multiple intelligence theory would tell us that the student differ in the way they learn. So, in learning style, it is a based on the student learning. It comes how he or she learn through communication because other student must learn faster through listening, like when through listening audiovisual like was watching videos in YouTube presentation and etc. But some other students that are quiet through this discussion, they are more passionately express their thoughts or knowledge through writing styles. Letter D, writing as a skill. It has to be taught for its being. Writing as a skill cannot be acquired or mastered overnight. So, writing as a skills itself, it is offers the student the opportunity to simultaneously catch on many vital facilities that can help them succeed in their activities, academics, or career, and also in the other relevant aspect of their lives. So, writing is a skill meant to be developed or mastered. It cannot be acquired overnight or within a short period of time. It is a process that the more you write and receive feedback, the more you written and the stronger you will become.
So, good morning everyone. I'm Jamie Clarice Namol and I am your second reporter. So, my topic is the four principles in writing instruction. So, number one is the essence of writing. So, writing is an effective and versatile means of communication. So, it also allows us to persuade our audience or explain to them ideas as simple as cooking your favorite food or following a diet regimen. So, in essence of writing, it allows us now to persuade our student or to explain to them ideas as simple as cooking your favorite food or following a diet regimen. So in writing, you can give detailed explanation. Example is giving instructions same ways as how you explain to others how to cook something. Another way is writing is versatile, because why is writing versatile? Because you can use writing in any ways. For example, giving instruction like cookbook, steps in doing daily routine or exercise. You can also use writing as a self-expression. For example, we have the creative writing. So, what's in creative writing? So, we have the poems, the poetry, songs, fictional stories, and writing is commonly used in assessing language proficiency and academic performance, because the teacher is tinetest nila yung learning ng isang student through writing. So usually kasi 'di ba, as you can see, hindi talaga mawawala yung written exam sa atin. So because it is one of the effective ways in assessing or evaluating if may natutunan ba yung isang student. So that is for our essence of writing. So let's proceed to the need of effective writing instruction. So having pointed out the essence of writing, Graham and the others also emphasize the need of writing instruction that is grounded on research. So they stressed that our instructional efforts in this area need to be informed by what is known about the factors that foster writing development and proven methods for promoting such development. So so in according to the research done by Saavedra in 2020, shows that this key points. So lack of vocabulary. So for example, our target language is English, and word lack in vocabulary, we have only few words nga nalalaman nga nabalaan. So sometimes when we talk in English, nahihirapan tayo to express ourselves. So you can't find the correct word to express what you want to say. So what we need to do is to learn new words, because the higher your vocabulary sa target language, mas easy ka maka-write. Mas easy ka maka-learn to write. So, next one is the difficulty in conveying and organizing ideas. So, 'di ba, sometimes you can't explain what you are thinking. Hindi mo siya ma-convey. Like, meron kang gustong sabihin. 'Di ba? Meron ka nang iniisip, pero you don't know how you can say it in English. 'Di ba? May instances na ganyan talaga. So, although you already have the idea, but pag mag-ingon ng teacher na you need to speak in English, so tatahimik ka na lang kasi hindi mo siya masabi in English. So the next one is pupils' perception that writing is a hard task. So you know what, because what makes writing hard for a student? Because you're locked in vocabulary and mahina ka sa spelling or grammar structures. So, dahil dyan, nahihirapan ka. So, this is not hard if you're going to practice enough. Because, writing is a skill. So, if you want to improve your skill, it doesn't happen overnight. So, dapat constant practice. So, we need the effective writing instruction to solve the issues based sa research na ginawa ni Saavedra in 2020. So, let's proceed to the knowledge of effective writing. So, here, you give what, so here, in this topic, knowledge of effective writing kasi, diba? So, in knowledge and effective writing, our own knowledge and skills are the limits to the things we can teach to our students. So, in here, you can't give what you don't have. Our knowledge and skills is the limit kung ano lang yung pwede nating ituro sa student natin. So, as a teacher, you have to learn then kung ano yung tuturo mo sa mga students because you can teach your student kung wala kang natutunan. So, as a teacher, we have to equip ourselves first because as a teacher, you should have the knowledge kung ano ang effective writing or what makes writing effective. So, dapat alam mo yan as a teacher para maging effective teacher ka. So, let's proceed to the effective writing procedures for teaching. So, we're challenged to research beyond the context and reality of our learners' writing skills. So, here, we have to think outside the box. Hindi ka lang magsistay sa surface learning. For example, is the iceberg. You can only see the tip of the iceberg. So, pero hindi natin alam na may mas malaki pala doon sa ilalim nun. Kung sa ilalim nun. So, we should know first our student, like for example, putting ourselves in their shoes to know kung paano natin sila matuturuan ng maayos. So, that's the effective writing procedures for teaching writing. So, that's the end of my report. So, the next reporter is Miss Uto. So, Miss Uto, the floor is yours. So, once again, I'm Jamie Clarice Namol, your second reporter.
Good morning, leaders. I am Elfie Otto, the next reporter of Group 7, and my topic is about perspectives on the nature of writing and writing instruction. Writing as a communication has the potential to change not only one's worldview, but the world itself. Famous works like Nolime Tangere in 1887 of Jose Rizal, An Inconvenient 2006 by Al Gore, and Greta Thunberg's social media post on climate change can just be a few of the examples of. Number 1 is writing as cognitive ability versus writing as a sociological phenomenon. Cognitive ability. To view writing as a cognitive ability means taking into account both the writing ability and the linguistic proficiency of the learner. Cognition includes all conscious and unconscious processes by which knowledge is accumulated, such as perceiving, recognizing, conceiving, and reasoning. For example, our essay. In essay, we write our reasons or our own belief to explain the given task or questions. Or also in writing stories. It includes also to think logically as the author writes to open up the reader's imagination. Sa pagsasalat ng stories, siya ng author ang mga fantasy scenes para maaliw yung mga mambabasa. Kasi wala namang magbabasa ng libro mo kung ang nakasulat ay plain or walang twist na mga scenes, fantasy or unreal scenarios na talagang maiinganyo yung babasa na basahin yung libro hanggang matapos. How writers turns their ideas into text depends on their cognitive process, such as attention and working memory, and the mechanics of handwriting or typing. For English language learners, working memory is particularly relevant. Writing is a complex and effortful cognitive task. Next is sociological phenomenon. This view on writing, according to recognize that writing is done for a purpose, is directed to a specific audience, and is part of a broader set of literacy practices, shaped by a particular culture and setting. In sociological writing, it means that you are writing for a specific event or phenomenon. It includes speech for an event such as graduation speech, wedding speech, State of the Nation address. The speech was written for a purpose of a specific event. Halimbawa dito is yung speech ng SONA, like what I said. Gumagawa o sumasulat ng speech yung president or assistant ng president para sa specific na event, which is yung SONA. Same as sa pag-prepare ng debate. Need pa yung sumulat ng script or notes na babasahin nila ng magdi-debate. To clear, ito ay yung speech na ginagawa dahil sa isang specific na event lang. At doon lang yon sa event na yon dapat gagamitin. Hindi na pwede sa iba. So, hindi siya sumusulat para itago lang. So, or ito ay need talagang i-present to a specific event. Hindi yung lang siya kasi wala lang. Sumulat siya because she writes or he writes just to speak it or read it in an event. That is for sociological phenomenon. So that is all my reporting, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Janice Embalgot, and I'll be continuing the discussion on the perspectives on the nature of writing and writing instruction. So the second perspective is writing as a product and writing as a process. Our first one is writing as a product. So when we say about a product, it means that it is a byproduct or a result of an action or a specific process. So in writing, what we call as the products are our write-ups or our outputs. And they will serve as a documentation of whatever we have written. So in writing as a product, it is more concerned about the output. This is also called a genre writing approach. In writing as a product, it pays attention to the correctness of grammar or structure. According to Zakimi in 2018, he finds that the product approach in teaching writing as a time efficient approach because its primary aim is only accuracy. Therefore, the teacher has a focused skill to correct. The teacher who uses this approach usually asks learners to read the model text for analysis and templates for writing. So basically, in writing as a product, it is easier for the teachers to evaluate or assess a certain writing output, because all they have to do is just check probably the grammars, the structure of the sentences, and so on. A genre-based writing. So this is a kind of writing that has a typical style, particular target of readers, and a specific purpose. And that's by Dirgayasa in 2016, citing Thoreau in 2006. So according to Tompkins in 2008, there are different writing genres. He mentioned some of those genres are journal writing, biographical writing, letter writing, expository, narrative, descriptive, and poetry and persuasive writing. So in genre, when we say genre, it's actually a category or artistic composition, let's just say usually literary, and characterized by similarities in form, style, or subject matter. So for example, the first genre of writing, according to Tompkins, is the journal writing. So what is a journal? So a journal is actually like, it could be a newspaper or a magazine that deals with a particular subject or professional activity. So it could be like a daily record of news and events of a personal nature. For example, your diary could be considered as a journal. Next one is biographical writing. So let's just say simply put biography. So biography is an account of someone's life written by someone else. So it is a life story, in written form, literary form, and that writing was not written by the person, but by someone else. So on the other hand, we also have like autobiography. The only difference with biography and autobiography, autobiography is of course the same thing, an account of someone's life, but that was written by the person himself or herself, not by someone else. Next one is letter writing. Okay, there could be a lot of letters, so that's pretty straight to the point. Let's proceed to the expository writing. This is a genre of essay that requires the student to investigate an idea, evaluate evidence, expound on the idea, and set forth an argument concerning that an idea in a clear, concise manner. So, as its name implies, it is a writing that exposes facts. In other words, it is a writing that explains and educates its readers rather than entertaining or attempting to persuade them. Like we have persuasive writing. So that's mainly for persuading audiences or readers. At the same time, if you want to entertain, we have like the creative writing. For example of creative writing it could be like poetries. It could be fictional novels. What else? Like different fiction. Okay. So we also have like descriptive writing. So this is to describe a person, a place, or a picture in such a way that a place or thing in such a way that a picture is formed in the reader's mind. So capturing an event through descriptive writing involves paying close attention to the details by using all of your five senses. So, a descriptive. So, for example, we have descriptive words like the adjectives. So, we use adjectives to describe, a certain thing. Like for example, swift. It could be hard, or it could be soft. It could be cold. So it uses all our five senses in order to provide an image to the reader, of whatever you're trying to say, so that they can actually grasp, the entire concept of what you're talking about. Okay, an example of descriptive writing could go like this. My dog's fur felt like silk against my skin, and her black coloring shone, absorbing the sunlight and reflecting it like a pure dark mirror. So it's simply, the writer is just simply describing, his or her dog, But of course, you would actually somehow like have an image of how the dog looks like the fur felt like skin, what the color is black and it's shining, and absorbing the sunlight and also reflecting back that light like a dark mirror. Okay, so another one is poetry. Poetry is some kind of part of a creative writing. So in poetry in literature, something that evokes a concentrated imaginative awareness or of experience or a specific emotional response that through language chosen and arranged for its meaning, sound, and rhythm. Persuasive writing, again, so what I mentioned a while ago, persuasive writing could also be considered as an argument essay, uses logic and reason to show that one idea is more legitimate than the other. It attempts to persuade a reader to adopt a certain point of view or to take a particular notion. Okay, so Zakimi provided the following key items: clogs. So for content, this is followed by controlled writing activities that would lead students to think of their own topic, to develop using the pattern they saw from the model text. For lexis and organization, so after the student writers have thought of their topic, they will organize their ideas and write the final output. Because of its focus on the fluency, this perspective in writing instruction is most useful as reinforcement or development activity. For style, the literary element that describes the ways the author uses words. Let's say, for example, the author's word choice or diction, sentence structure, figurative language, and sentence arrangement. So these all work together to establish mood, images, and meaning in the text. Creative writing styles are honed through a combination of the following. So we have the word choice, syntax, context, and purpose, the author's location, time, period, and influences. The next one, okay, so that was writing as a product. So the next one is the writing as a process. So writing as a process takes into account the different stages of writing as a way of developing writing skills. Writing as a process, according to Langan in 2014, involves the 5 basic steps, namely pre-writing, organizing ideas or outlining the paper, drafting, revising, and then editing. So for pre-writing, first, that's the first stage of writing, because again, we are already in writing as a process. So now we're going to tackle, the different stages in the writing. So the first step in writing, and of course, pre-writing. So this in pre-writing, it involves choosing the topic and the generation of ideas for writing. So choosing a topic is crucial, especially if the writing activity is done within the given class time. As teachers, we need to guide students in deciding on topics that they are knowledgeable of and interested in. They also have to be reminded that the topic they have chosen is narrow enough to do within the given time frame. So in pre-writing, usually this can be done, for example, in activities such as like providing or showing students like a picture, and then they can describe whatever they see in the picture. Um, the grammar or the structure is not the main goal, but only to extract the ideas that the students can actually produce based on, I mean, from the image that was shown to them. And then they have to write it up. And then, of course, the more that they are interested in that image or whatever they are thinking about, that they can actually relate to what they are seeing. So the more words that they can be able to produce in the pre-writing stage. So in pre-writing, there are 4 activities. So we have like free writing, the listing, brainstorming, and clustering. So free writing is, of course, that's what I have mentioned a while ago, that all they have to do is just write any words or phrases that they can think of based on a specific topic. So they don't have to think about the structure and the grammar. So for listing, pretty much the same thing. They can list down the words or phrases or any ideas that they can think of. Brainstorming. This can be done especially, in groups or, with another person. All you have to do is just share your ideas with them, and then they will share their ideas with you, and then you can, create something creative about from it. Clustering. So for clustering, you can actually, probably, choose a specific topic, and then just list down any words or ideas that may come in your mind, and then group those words or cluster them in such a way that they are related to each other, and then you can be able to possibly like make up an essay, from those cluster words. So for the main parts of an essay, we have the introduction, body, and the conclusion. So introduction is, of course, the opener of your essay. The body is actually providing all the necessary details to prove your topic, and then the conclusion is the closing or the resolution of your entire essay. Organizing ideas. So assisting students in planning and outlining ideas they generated during the pre-writing stage. So in this specific stage, once they are done with pre-writing, they will start to organize their ideas. So the teacher's role here is, of course, help students plan and outline their ideas, so that they can be able to create something meaningful from what they have done during the pre-writing stage. And then after organizing their ideas, they will start to create their drafts. So that's the third step in writing. So in writing the draft, this means that you are developing the key ideas that were outlined in the previous stage in organizing ideas. So this time you will start to write paragraphs, to create an entire essay. So of course, an essay has like an intro, the body, and conclusion. So based on your organized ideas, you can select, which cluster of words or phrases could be suitable for your introduction, and also which clusters could be part of your introduction, and also, of course, lastly, your conclusion. Now, after writing the draft, the next stage is revising. So in this stage, you are going to check the substance of the claims and the smooth flow of the development of their ideas. Now, at this time, once they have organized not organized rather, after writing the draft. So therefore, they can be able to see, because during the revising stage, of course, you have to reread what you have written so far, and then from that point, you would probably, see some errors or corrections, or probably move different, transpose sentences to another part of the paragraph to probably give a smoother transition of idea to another. And finally, in editing, so this require polishing of grammar, mechanics, and the style. So this one is the last stage, because of course after revising, you're going to check on the final touch for your revised composition. And of course, after editing, therefore, that should be considered as your final output. And there are 3 considerations in effective writing according to Langan in 2008. We have the subject, the purpose, and the audience. So before we start writing, we should have a subject first, because because the subject actually helps you guide in what you're trying to talk about in your composition or in your write-up. So the subject is actually the idea that we want to talk or write about. So therefore, if you don't have any topic, then you would likely just write something, and your ideas are actually all over the place. Next one is purpose. So this guides in organizing our ideas and choosing the language to use in writing. It also helps decide the length of discussion and style of presentation. So if you already have a subject that you want to talk about, and therefore you're gonna have to have a purpose. This would serve as a goal in order for you to know, if are you going to somehow do a persuasive approach, or are you going to just simply provide facts, or are you going to do a creative type of writing approach, wherein all you have to do is just provide fictional or let's just say creative style of writing. The next one is audience. So of course, knowing your audience will help you shape your writing style and organization. Our audiences could be age specific, or it could be applied to all ages. It could be profession, cultural background, gender, and etc. And that's all for writing as a process. Thank you.
Good morning, leaders. I am Christine Lado, and I am the last reporter. And my topic is all about the mechanics of writing. The mechanics of writing is writing in a second language begins in understanding the writing system and the mechanics of writing. So when we say mechanics of writing, it refers to the rules of the written language, such as capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. It is important way to effectively communicate ideas. So according to Olstein 2014, we have here the list of following mechanics of writing. First one, we have letter of recognition. Is the ability to distinguish a letter from the other letters in the alphabet, and it is foundation in learning to read and write the language. So when we say letter recognition, it is the ability to identify a letter that is being shown, or to pick up out a specific letter from among a group of other letters. We need first to familiarize those letters in alphabet in order us to distinguish the ability to remember the forms of written words and their ability to treat word as a sequence of letter. The next one, letter discrimination, is the ability to distinguish similar looking letters B and D, or letters like T and F. In letter discrimination, it is the ability to tell the letters apart based on their shape and orientation. So some letters have the same strokes and are only different in the way they face, such as letter B and letter D. So we need to enlighten them that letter B is different from letter D. That's why we need first to recognize those letters in alphabet in order us to know or to distinguish different letters. The next one, sound to letter correspondence. This mechanics in writing refers to the matching of the sound with the letters or symbol. Sound to letter correspondence, it is the relationship of the letters in the alphabet to the sound they produce. So, in the sound to letter correspondence, we teach them how to read word by word. We teach them the different sound of the letter. So, we have here the last one, basic rules of spelling. An effective fluency in spelling, but to some of our learners, this could be a tedious task, especially if they have not mastered the first 4 of these mechanics. If you have issues or problems in these mechanics I mentioned a while ago, so for example, in conjugating verb, there are different set of rules in forming tenses in verb. Example, the word master, it can be mastered by adding ed. That rule cannot apply all the time. So if you don't know the basic spelling in English word, you have some issues in spelling. That's why we need to familiarize those first 4 mechanics. So that's the end of our topic. Thank you for listening.